Are you listening? Damn.
What's that yellow thing? Okay, now that you've seen all those scars, I just want to let you know that they look scary right now to me because I have not really seen them, and like I've never been able to see. I've always felt the big scabs underneath my boobs, but never seen them. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear in the video, but I'm like, what is that? So it looks scary, but it looks, with the exception, I guess I saw underneath my boob one time and it was scary, but the incisions were super scary to me in the beginning. Like, I would call myself Frankenstein. Like, everything was, like, it looked good, like good lines, but like super chopped up. And underneath one of my boobs, it looked like he just scrunched a bunch of my skin and shoved it up there for my boob lift, which I know is not what happened, but like that's what it looked like. So what you're seeing, even though it might look a little scary, is healing and a lot better than what it looked like in the beginning. I don't know if I've given a heads up for this or if I've talked about it. Maybe I've touched on it, but I had no idea what like a boob lift entailed, and I still kind of don't, but I know that when he was talking about doing my boob lift, he was talking about like taking my areolas off and twisting my boobs up, and I kind of chose not to really listen because I just trusted him. But so your areolas are pretty much taken off and sewn back on all the way around when you get a boob lift. And I wasn't expecting it, so I was scared of my boobs. Someone who was down there having surgery at the same time as me messaged me like, oh my gosh, what have we done to our boobs? What is wrong with my boobs? And I thought the same thing, but I just was like, let's just trust him. I didn't know this. Like, the first person to see in my family to see my boobs was my mom. When I got back to her house, she had to help me shower. And she never said anything about it, but over Christmas, I was kind of showing her everything, which my areolas, I can't show you, are completely healed. Like, they look like a normal nipple now. Well, when I say completely healed, they're not completely healed, but they're attached, they function, all of that. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. She's like, when you came back, I was like, ugh, who's going to want to touch those? And thank goodness, I mean, like, that's what I was thinking when I saw them the first time, but thankfully she never said that, but she was thinking that also. And when I first showed my husband, he was like, babe, like, he was sad. Like, he's like, I didn't know they were gonna like cut them off and sew them back on. So if you're getting a lift or an implant with, at least with Dr. Galvez, just expect that your nipples are going to be taken off. Well, your areolas with your nipples are going to be taken off and sewn back on. And that's why you have to worry about them getting the blood vessels going and everything staying the right color and functioning and not turning black and all that stuff. So you definitely look scary, and that's probably why they say like you need to wait at least 3 months to heal before you start worrying about what you look like, which I need to take my own advice. So they don't look anything like I want them to right now. They're not like, they're getting bouncier every day and squishier every day, and lowering slowly, but who knows how long that can take. So just be prepared for any surgery you get done. It's going to take a while before it looks how you want to look, how you want it to look, and it probably is going to look kind of scary for a while. I'm walking up the hill to get the mail, and Gracie's in a panic. She's like, are you sure you don't need help? I'm going to set a timer. To be fair, this is my first walk other than our kitchen. So we'll see if she comes out in 7 minutes to save me. Hi guys. So the other day, I'm just doing an update on my stomach. So I guess about a week ago, when I had messaged the doctor and let him know my concern about the swelling, one of his answers was like, just keep compressing it and just give it time. But then he did say, like, if you think you have a pocket of fluid, let me know. And in my head, I'm like, of course it worried me, number one, because I worry about everything. But I'm like, how would I know if I have a pocket of fluid in my stomach? So he called it something, but I tried to Google that word and I didn't really come up with much. And then after I posted my last YouTube video, one of my friends on YouTube messaged me and was like, hey, have you thought about a possible seroma, is how I'm gonna say it, SEROMA. She explained after her tummy tuck, she had a pocket of fluid that they had to drain, and then everything was okay after that. And so I Googled that and I saw a bunch of things on it, and I saw a bunch of videos, and I mean, some of them can be serious, some of them just need drained. There's all different scenarios. And some of them can just be taken care of naturally, but I mean, I think I have a pretty big area, and next time I have my clothes and all my compression off, I'll show you a video of how I'm going to explain my belly, above my belly button kind of moves like a water bed. So it makes me feel like it is filled with fluid. So I did I messaged my primary doctor here in Missouri and let her know what was going on. And we had a quick Zoom meeting this morning so I could just show her everything, show her my incisions, which is not near my incision, but just give her a better idea of what they did and show her my concern with the area. And I was hoping for like either an ultrasound or a CT where you can confirm whether there's fluid under there or not. So she said she would, since I didn't have any symptoms like fever, I can cough a little bit now. I just hang on to my stomach. There was no giant concern at this time since obviously we want to get it taken care of, but there's no like temperature or redness or anything like that. So she was going to submit the order to my insurance, make sure it was approved for me to get, that they would cover some of the ultrasound. And now I'm just waiting to hear back from them when I can schedule the ultrasound. So hopefully the insurance makes up a decision pretty quickly and we don't get one of those, wait for a decision in 7 days. And then the hospital will call me and I can hopefully run in there and get an ultrasound and find out really if it is a seroma or not. And then if it is, hopefully I can just see one of the general surgeons that come up to the hospital. And I hope worst case scenario, just have to drain it. It's where they just stick a syringe up in there and drain it out, or that's what I've seen on the internet, and that's what I've seen people do. So at least we'll kind of know what's going on and why my stomach's been not flat. So that is an update with that. When I did the videos for Dr. Sanchez, that's the biggest my stomach has ever looked, and I was like in a real panic. And then later that night when I was crying, I realized like the lower part of my stomach is bloated because I'm on my period, like on my period bad. And before, when I had the fat and the loose skin, I felt bad and bloated, but you could never see it. But now that that's always been flat down there, not always, now that it's been flat since surgery down lower and it had a little bloat to it, I was in a real panic. But that's what it's like when people say they're bloated on their period and they don't have fat or skin to hide it. So it is Thursday morning. Happy New Year's Eve. I just got off the phone with Dr. Sanchez. So yesterday I sent him, I don't know if it was yesterday. We've been emailing back and forth for a little bit, just letting him know how worried I was that this was a seroma in my belly. And I was like, I think we need to talk face to face and I just would feel better. And he was like, well, send me some short videos of your belly and I'll see, you know, what I think. And so I sent him like 7-second videos of each side. He told me what to do. He said, press down for 2 or 3 seconds as hard as I could and release and let him see. And then I also let it do that jiggly thing that you'll see in the video clip before this. And he emailed back like, I don't see any fluid, like this looks okay. Like he sent me this big long thing trying to reassure me, and I still was like, and he did offer like, we can do face to face though. And I just have been so worried, and it's probably why I have this giant cold sore here, and just making myself sick with worry. And so I finally was like, you know, I would just really feel better. And hold on, in the meantime, you know, I talked to my doctor. I got the order for the ultrasound. I got scheduled in 2 different places. My hospital where I work, they couldn't get me until Monday. So I went ahead and got on that schedule. And then a town nearby, they could get me in today at 2:15. So I got on that schedule. I was like getting pricing, just in my mind, I was going because just making sure I was safe and easing my mind was going to be worth the money I was probably going to have to spend, even though I didn't want to have to spend that money. And I was like, you know, I would really, I would appreciate a face-to-face. So I can really like, I really know that you can hear me and you can see me and you understand what I'm talking about and I can understand you, and just so we can be safe. So he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So this morning we face chatted? How old am I? FaceTimed on an app that you have to use when somebody's out of the country. And he had me do all those things again. I showed him my compression, number one, so no one could be like, you're not compressing. So I showed him everything I was doing. And then I did the holding my belly for him for all different angles. And then I showed him, I was just, you know, just telling him how I felt, showed him everything. And he still was like, you know, like from 3 to 6 weeks is where your body's doing the most swelling. It's forming scar tissue. It's doing the most work. Like it's trying to heal other areas. Like this is a bad week to, really assess yourself. And he was like laughing when I'm like, you know, it was 6 weeks ago. That feels so long ago to me. But if you talk to somebody who isn't in my shoe, you know, who isn't me, and they said they had a major surgery 6 weeks ago, I'd be like, that's not that long. And he was laughing and he's like, I understand. And he's like, we really can't, you know, determine what your body is going to look like until at least 2, probably 3 months out. And I want to make it very clear to you guys, and I made it clear to him, like, if this is the way, if this is my end result, I'm thrilled. It's the best my body's ever looked. If I have a little jiggly loose skin, I could care less. I've probably said that on here. I just want to make sure I'm safe and healthy. So make sure there's no fluid in there, nothing that could cause an infection, nothing. So my concern is not how I look, because he was very hesitant to say like the jiggly skin, like doesn't offend me at all. I realize we chose not to do the FDL, so there could be some loose skin left, fine. But he said my stomach just looks like super swollen and that my skin hasn't retracted yet. So he's like, it'll go through swelling and then your skin will retract. And he's like, maybe it won't be 100% where you have a flat belly. He's like, just don't compare. And he's like, give it a few more weeks. So he said 2 to 3 weeks. If it's still this swollen, then we can maybe think about an ultrasound. But he really said, probably if you did an ultrasound right now, you'd have to pay a lot of money. They would find a little bit of fluid, which could possibly scare you. And then they could want to drain it, which is not necessary. So he did a lot of explaining to me. And he said, I promise I pay really close attention to these things. If I would have seen anything that looked like a wave movement, like there was fluid in there, I would tell you, like, definitely go get the ultrasound to be safe. But he said, I honestly see nothing that makes me think that that's what it is. And so I said, I'll trust you. So when I got off the phone with him, I canceled both my ultrasounds. Guys, I'm serious. I've been going nuts about this. Like I cried about it last night. Just like it's sad to have to worry this much, but you know, it's my body and these are big things happening. So I want to make sure I'm healthy. But he was willing to meet with me, and he said, I know going back and forth between email sometimes is, you know, if you're worried about something or having a problem isn't that great. So he said he's always willing to be here if I need him. So that's what my morning's been like, and it's what, like 9:30.